and maybe not in the way you think. Believe it or not, every single one of you have placed a trade before you came here today. Just maybe not at the JSE, not in stocks, but every decision you make is either a trade-off or a trade-up. Maybe that looks like not waiting till payday to get your new boots and spending on a debit card. Trade-off or trade-up. Maybe that looks like not having clear boundaries and splurging on a girls' night on the 22nd. Trade-off or trade-up. These are the questions you need to ask yourself. Every small choice you make is an exchange. It's a quiet, silent trade with your future self. And how do you feel about that? What do you say with your decision makings? I know it's not exactly clear. These small silent changes, is it we're trading now for later? Instant gratification for long-term security. Every small choice has this power. The most important truth is people don't look attentionally at these trades. People act in an unintentional manner, and this makes them lose sight of their purpose. Every small truth is important, and that's what makes me so heartbroken for South Africans. These trade-offs lead to so many futures being unclaimed. That's the retirement plans that go unrealized, the investment that never starts, the dreams that never materialize into anything real. I want to tell you guys, but that's not you. Not today. You have that choice. In this moment, you get to define your financial purpose. A purpose is so important. It is the goals that keep you accountable and stop you from making accidental, what feels like inconsequential trade-offs, and move to a space of intentional trade-ups. I've heard the I like it. And I just want to let you know, that's why I'm here today. Google gave me a wonderful introduction. In a second life, I was a portfolio manager. But I'm not here to talk about products and markets. You've got an amazing lineup of speakers who have that handled. Today I want to talk to you about power. The power in clarity. The power in purpose. That's what I'm saying. You need to be able to hold your clarity and purpose and know that I'm building a future. I'm building a future of purpose. I'm building a future of mine. It's a promise your present self makes to your future self. And that's also why Old Mutual is the proud platinum sponsor of the She Invest. Because we know access is just the starting point. It doesn't solve anything. It's just the beginning of this conversation. We believe in partnership, meeting investors where they're at and growing with you along that journey. Before we really get into how you functionally build this future we're talking about, let's get real about today, because it's rough out here in these streets. Old Mutual has something called the Mutual Savings and Investment Monitor. Basically, it's a barometer of financial wellness and sentiment in the market. And here's some real hard truths that have come out of it this year. The real facts facing South African women. Did you know 4 out of every 10 households in South Africa are headed by single women? Let that sit in. Did you know more than half of us, look around, half of us in this group are building a future. Half of us in this group are building a future where our goals are not only our own. We form part of what's called a sandwich generation. We straddle the line between caring for our children, supporting our family, while still trying to navigate what is building something real for ourselves. That is a lot. The weight is heavy. And it's not anything surprising to say that more than half respondents in this Old Mutual survey said this financial stress is negatively affecting their health. There is 54% of respondents that are having negative health outcomes based on purely financial stress. That's not just a statistic. That's real. That's sleepless nights, panic attacks, missed meals, tireless pursuit of something better. But given the context of the environment we're in, I don't want to wear you down too much, there's still such optimism, and that gives me hope. 76% of women, that's almost two-thirds of respondents, say that they have a firm grasp of their financial futures improving in the next 6 months. So in the middle of the storm and pressure, there's resilience, promise, optimism, bravery, because that's who we are as South African women. If we take a step back, we put that to the side, there's still other gaps that we have to address honestly as women. Our Mutual Savings and Investment Monitor highlighted some key points. 85% of women have financial goals. I'm sure that's a number of you in the crowd. But only 73% of them really believe that they can achieve it. Doesn't sound like a huge differentiation, but that's a 12% gap. For interest saved, men in the survey, 2%. Single moms, 20%. Now, what is that gap? Where is it coming from? How does it start? We've taken a lot of time to think about it, and I truly don't believe it's a gap in discipline, otherwise you all wouldn't be here today. It's not a gap in aptitude. It is a gap in confidence and clarity. Phoning in on your purpose for your financial goals provides you with that roadmap to access that confidence and clarity. Have any of you, just for a show of hands, ever said, investing's too complicated, I actually don't know where to start, it's not for me? Have any of you said, it's too late for me, I didn't do it in my 20s, I don't know what to do now? This is an overarching theme. I want you to know, if you look around the room, hands went up. You are not alone. If you go outside into the exhibition hall, you'll see something that I'm mutually quite proud of. It's our Add Your Voice campaign. We want to highlight the real reality South Africans face as a shared community. These provide us with connectivity. By dismantling these fears and putting a name to it, we're able to overcome it with intention and drive. Don't let it hamper you, you let it empower you. It lets you say, I see the pressure, I feel the weight, but I choose to move forward regardless because what I'm building is important. It's not just important for me, it's important for generations to come. This gap is something I've been thinking about a lot. And as I said, we need to really figure out how to close this confidence gap. And I probably should be running a drinking game or a word count for how many times I say purpose, but it's so important because that's how we close this gap. One word, that's where we begin, purpose. It's before the what, before the how, before the even why we start investing, before we start investing. Knowing our why is vital. It lets you break through to the next level. And I want to look at it today through 3 simple lenses. First, knowing your purpose as a source of inspiration. It's what you want to achieve. Secondly, purpose is practical. It gives you a roadmap to get exactly where you need to go. Once you name it, you see how to get there. They often say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, but I promise you it helps a hell of a lot having a map. And finally, the biggest menace, purpose as a means of safeguarding yourself from yourself. It's a psychological game that we're playing here. So let's begin. Purpose, your why. It's your inspiration. I work with self-directed investors all the time, from high net worth to emerging wealth. And what they all say is, I want financial freedom. But let's get real, let's stay grounded. What does that mean? That's the question I ask them. What does it mean to you? Explain it to me. Experientially, what does that feel like? Maybe it's the picture of your child walking across a stage, getting their degree, and knowing they didn't have to take out any loans to make it happen. Maybe it's retiring with dignity and giving the next generation the gift of not having to accommodate for you. Maybe it's leaving a job or relationship or country that's no longer serving you. These are the options that open up when we really define what financial freedom is. Anchor in it, sit in it, and know it's real. These aren't just words. They're pictures, they're outcomes, they're realities. So I want you to visualize your future clearly. Can we take a moment? 5 seconds. Close your eyes. Where are you? I want you to picture yourself 15 years from now. What does it feel like? Where are you? What do you have? What freedoms does future you have that you today do not? That's your vision, your purpose, your North Star, that makes every trade, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, all in service towards what you are building, something greater. Can I get another quick show of hands? Who's ever set a money goal and let it fall through by the end of the week? End of the month? No shame, no shame. This is a safe space. Normal. Purpose, inspiration, great philosophical concepts, but they fall away in isolation. Purpose and inspiration needs a framework, and that's where I bring in my second lens of purpose. Practicality. The two don't necessarily go together, but purpose alone is not enough. Purpose, in the context of looking back and steps to achieve, grounds you in action. When you know what your purpose is, your goal, your future projection, what you're trying to define, you work backwards. In the investing world, that is some technical terms. When you know where you're going, you can determine your time horizon. That's how long you have to get there. Your risk profile. How much volatility and uncertainty can you stomach to make sure you get to that goal? Something like your asset mix that builds up your portfolio. That's the different people on your team making sure that, when I say people, I mean financial instruments, making sure you reach your goal. There's also a couple other contexts such as style, whether you're investing for income or growth, but all of these can be quite technical. Think of purpose from purpose to action to plan. In equity, we've built something for first-time investors and portfolio builders that quantifies this. It's called an IPS. Anyone in investments, particularly fund management, would know what an IPS is. That stands for Investment Policy Statement. It's a bunch of financial jargon that is a roadmap for what we're trying to do here. What are we trying to accomplish? For first-time investors, I think it doesn't have to be that simple. It's giving you direction, it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's giving you direction to move forward. It's what connects your why to the what and the how of investing. And once it's written down and internalized, it becomes your strategy. You don't have to worry about guessing the market at that point. You don't have to worry about the ups and downs. Don't overthink it. Start simple, start small, write it down. This is free for download on the Equity website. You can download it today or if you sign up. I just want you to know that it's just one of many useful tools if you're open to it. But once you write down your dream, it actually becomes a decision. Finally, the last barrier. This arguably is the most insidious. Spoiler alert, it's you. You can be your own worst enemy. It's your psychology, it's your mindset. So let's talk about the mental game of investing. Like I said, equity is an investment platform built for people who want to build their own wealth. And that means I deal with self-directed investors like you every single day. And I can tell you without a drop of uncertainty, I am truly an investment psychologist, because everything that comes down to managing your own money is less about the money and more about managing yourself. There's a field called behavioral finance that has this well documented. There's cognitive biases, behavioral biases, but ultimately, it's what are we afraid of? It's where the fear creeps in. Are we afraid we started too soon? We missed out on the hype. Everyone's running forward without us. There's so many fears that can cloud us. If we take a step and realize that the truth is, it's not always your investment decision making that's the problem. It's bad mental models, bad patterns that pull you away from your core purpose. So anchoring down in purpose, realizing where you want to go, gives you that mental fortitude and the sounding board to always be able to refer back to and ride the waves of the market. Because as you know, the market is volatile in the short run, and this is something we need to manage as investors emotionally. Once again, that's where a tool like your IPS comes in. For equity, I call it an intent, purpose, steadiness document. Steadiness is the behavioral guardrails that stop you from making bad decisions at the worst time. I just want you to, when we go back to emotions taking over, the goal is not to read every headline. It's to filter out the noise and not panic. Just so you know, wealth is not necessarily an accumulation of assets. The second side of wealth is a cultivation of a wealth-based mindset. When you start thinking in decades, everything opens up for you. So just to summarize, I've been really thinking about purpose. I don't know if you got that at all from this. And why being so important. Running around in circles. Why am I on this journey? Why did I enter into investments? Why did I choose to build equity? And I'd like to leave you with a personal story. The reason I built equity is a number of money memories throughout my life. But the one that resonates with me, just because it was the most recent, is my Aya's tears. And for any of you that don't know, Aya means grandmother in Tamil. I vividly remember her face streaming, snorting trana, completely broken down, November last year. And why? Let me tell you a story about my family. Aya raised 8 kids off a single income, which is, I know, a story that many South Africans understand. She worked hard, she sacrificed so her kids could have an education. Once that goal was ticked, she quickly came into focus her next purpose and her next goal. My aunt, her eldest daughter, is severely disabled. And the purpose that popped up in the front of her mind as an 80-year-old woman is, when I go, my daughter has nothing. No dignity, no autonomy. She will be a burden, thrown around to the winds of any family member that will take her. And from that point, I said, not today, not me. Every small sacrifice for the next 15 years, was all in service of building something to leave behind for my aunt. And in November last year, she reached her goal. R1 million able to pass on to my aunt so that she is taken care of. It's not because of luck, and it's not because she has a lot. It's unshakable follow-through, grounded in purpose. I know I've said it a lot, but that really is the truth. I get goosebumps saying it because it is the foundation. What it really highlighted to me, the story of Aya and my aunt, is wealth isn't about how much you earn, it's about what you anchor it to. So back to why we built equity. It's for first-time investors, it's for full portfolio builders, it's for women like you, women that haven't always had the tools. We have the opportunity to cultivate a new generation of investment thinking. And I want equity to be a platform that grows with them. Because financial empowerment is not just about access, it's about ownership. It's about rising to the challenge. And we know when women build, we bring generations with us. That's why I just want to leave you with today's conference really matters. Old Mutual is so proud to be a sponsor for She Invest because we are here to fill the gaps. When optimism turns into action, those goal-setting gaps, those confident gaps fade away. We're ready to meet you where you are and grow from where you are at the moment. So I'd like to take this as a moment to invite you to join us at the booth outside, download the